So I'm feeling a little, maybe scared or vulnerable. Sharing my story, it's different than writing it in a book and having it between the pages and you tuck it away and it's out there. But it's different than talking about it openly. So I'm a little nervous, and I'm really, really glad that I know everybody here, and I could get my feet wet with you, with people I love. And I just want to thank you for coming and supporting me, because I really do feel the love. So thank you. So it's kind of a strange story, but I want to share this with you. So I started writing this book. It was supposed to be a cookbook, actually. And I know, weird. So I had a spiral notebook out there, and I took my recipes. I love cooking. So I've been taking all these recipes, collecting them since I was a little girl. And I was looking through them, and then I'd write down, like, that's a winner, and I'd write it down in a spiral notebook. And when I came across one, it said, Mrs. Anderson's grilled cheese sandwich. So I thought, oh, that's funny. I don't even remember this. And I flipped it around, and it said age 5. And I thought, oh, I remember what happened. I remember what happened at age 5. So when I don't want to keep anything in my head because it's just taking up empty space and it shouldn't be there, I just write anything down on a piece of paper. So I took another spiral notebook and I wrote that memory down there. And then as I was going through all my recipes, I mean, from 5 all the way up, I'm almost, 58 now? So that's a lot of time there to collect recipes. And so as I was going through that, and I looked back and I noticed that I had one with recipes, one with one traumatic memory, another one, and another one. And then so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5. On my 5th one was inspirational quotes and mantras, things that got me through all those things. And I just took a moment, put my hand on like all of them, and like this is yucky, but I remember there was one, and that's the book Under the Orange Blossoms. And that had the hardest, the most painful memories. And I thought, this is ridiculous. Like, why would I just cover it in close it, stick it away? Because I couldn't have gone through all this tragedy just to hide it or stick it away. It has to have some value, some meaning to somebody. So that's how I ended up coming up with writing. Because if my high school lit teacher even thought I was going to write something more than 2 pages, she would laugh her ass off right now. So, but a lot of people say, oh, this must be so cathartic for you. Like, that's so cool. But actually, it's been the opposite experience. It's been a stretch for me. It's been so hard to do this, really hard. And I'm going to walk you through that. So, like, if you have a traumatic memory, something horrible that has happened to you, you go through the normal steps. You kind of like, oh yeah, this is what happened. You sort it all out. You get pissy mad, and then you kind of put it and file it in a box in your head, and then you store it there because you already worked that problem out. It's sorted out. So there's no reason to go back into that box. And writing through trauma has been a very difficult experience, and that's why it took me 5 years, because if you open up all your boxes, all these Pandora boxes, you're opening up all those memories. And when you're writing through trauma, editor, there's people who help me with this, but they kind of go into like, well, what was the room like? What was their expression? Where was your pain? What part of your body was your pain? What did you feel? What sound did you hear in the background? What were you thinking? And then when you're writing, you're thinking, well, that's not even good enough. So then you kind of dig deeper and deeper in there. And as I was doing this, I was getting traumatized all over again because I messed up my boxes in my head and I was kicking up the dust. And just doing that was horrible, like horrible. So I kept on thinking, like, why am I doing this? I was having nightmares at night. I was crying often. I would have just wake up completely sweaty, screaming, and Mark had to calm me down and he said, "Why are you doing this? You're gonna make yourself sick." And the only thing that drove me to do this and continue and finalize it was I kept on thinking about myself as a young girl. And if I could have had somebody tell me that I was going to be okay, that I would heal, that I would come through, that there's light at the end of the tunnel, I would have done anything. I'm serious. I needed to know I was going to be okay. And so that was the motivation in there, just knowing that I'm doing this for somebody else. And yes, it is cathartic-ishy, but it's not really. It is, but it's really not. It's a very difficult process. So in the meantime, I was going to my therapist, who's here today, Angela, using all her Kleenex, crying, and then I would heal from that and then go back and then write it again. And it was a really traumatic experience. So anyway, but I don't think anybody's immune from heartache. I mean, we all have adversity. And when I think about that, what is that thing that drives us, that we get through that? What's that grit? What is that thing, that tenacity that drives you to go through it and then come out? And everybody has that. But mine was taking a negative. So I had a negative outcome, I had a negative situation, and trying to find the love in that darkness. And I used that to work with. And then from there, it wasn't enough, for me at least. I needed to ground myself, and I would go out into nature and find beauty and decorate, paint. And that's what grounded me. That's what got me through all those years. And I started using affirmations, positive quotes that just kind of even further anchored me. But we all have our ways of finding that thing that gets us through, because no one's immune to heartache. Well, hold on, my little cheat sheets. My Under the Orange Blossoms has a lot of common themes, I think, that a lot of people could relate to, because it's not all about suffering. I mean, it's about us. It's about people, like coming of age, divorce, domestic violence, narcissism, sexual abuse, raising a child with special needs, generational trauma, poverty, nurturing parents through their last and final stages. And I'm sure many of you could relate to that one too. I wish I had a solution for these social issues, but I don't. But I feel if we talk about them more, it kind of removes that taboo stigma around some of these social issues. And the more we talk about it, the more we may be able to find a solution to these things. And that's what I'm hopeful for. And I hope that more people talk about these things and make them more commonplace. I do want to thank a couple people here. So there are 43 friends that I offered. I asked them if they would read my manuscript. It was reams of papers. It was not even bounded. It had all my crazy thoughts in there. And I feel sorry for all of you who took the time to do that. And because of there was a common theme of things that you were interested in, and I took to heart every single person's input. And I took to heart, and it's almost like this book is your book because it's what you found interesting. And I want to thank also to, Elizabeth, where are you? Will you raise your hand? Oh, there she is. Ah! Okay, Elizabeth is a newbie editor. She's also a special ed teacher, and Elizabeth came to my house. So when I was starting the company with Hannah, she came to the house every single morning, as much as we possibly could when I wasn't traumatized, and I said, stop. But she came at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we went over the portions that I wrote, and we squished it all together, and we talked about it. Sometimes, I don't know, we used up Kleenex, but I have to say, you believed in me more than I did. So thank you. Thank you for there. In the meantime, she had 2 children that she would nurse while we were working. Oh my gosh, she is a baller. She's amazing. And Angela, where is Angela? Oh, there she is. Okay, Angela is the most fabulous trauma therapist. I can't even tell you. Thank you. I'm going to replace all the Kleenex that I used. Promise. She is remarkable. I only need 1 review, and it's from Angela. So she does writing through trauma. She does all sorts of trauma therapy. I have learned so much from you. Seriously, great teacher. Thank you. So please tell a friend about this. You know, it's word of mouth. That's how things are endorsed. It's through word of mouth. And all of you have fabulous taste. So if you could tell a friend. I also, on the tables, they have QR codes over there. Or if you take a post, I could send you a link and they could buy the book. So yeah, thank you. Thank you. And thank you for being here, all of you. I'm serious. I feel the love. So thank you.